New Superman came out this past weekend. Got to see it again. Pulled a Ferris Bueller, and I absolutely loved it for the second time. But a lot of questions came in my second viewing, and that's what we're here to talk about today, the new DCU. Now, I actually have some notes here because it's a cluster. Okay, so with the new Superman coming out 2025, James Gunn's new film, which he wrote and directed, it is said this is the launch of a new DC universe. So everything prior is technically not relevant, but some of it is. So there was a lot of characters and a lot going on in Superman. We had the introduction, or not really introduction, but we got to see, Green Lantern, Hawk Girl, Terrific, Mr. Terrific, and we also got Supergirl. We also got Crypto, and we also got Peacemaker. Now, this is where things kind of get a little hazy. Now, this is supposed to be the start of the new DCU. But what doesn't make sense is you bring John Cena's Peacemaker in, and it has been confirmed by James Gunn himself that Peacemaker is relevant and is canon in the new DCU. However, if we go back, nothing else is technically relevant as of this time. There is no Shazam. There is no Wonder Woman. There is no Batman, Flash. There is no Aquaman that we know of. So, of course, when the film opens, if you haven't already seen it, major spoilers ahead, it opens and tells us that, there's been metahumans for over 3 decades, that Superman has announced to the world that he is Superman a little over 3 years ago. So we already, again, are introduced to, like I said, Green Lantern, Hawkgirl, and Mr. Terrific. Now, with that being said, of course, there could be Aquaman, there could be Flash, there could be a Batman. All these other characters very well exist. However, we just don't see them in the film. Now, with that being said, Peacemaker does make an appearance. Now, when you bring Peacemaker into the loop, you're bringing in John Cena's Peacemaker, and he's now canon in the new DCU. You're bringing along everything all the baggage that he comes with. First thing is Shazam. I looked it up, and there is no confirmation as of yet if Shazam is going to be in the new DCU and who is going to play Shazam. Now, if you watch Shazam: Fury of the Gods, there is that second post-credit, or the mid-post-credit scene, which is your first post-credit scene, where you have the 2 agents who work with Peacemaker who recruit Billy, Shazam, to be in the Justice Society. It's actually a joke because at the end of Shazam: Fury of the Gods, spoiler alert, Billy sacrifices himself and he dies. Now, the Wizard says that only a god could bring him back to life to respark his power. And of course, that's when you have Gal Gadot, I know I'm pronouncing her name wrong, but Wonder Woman come on screen, and she takes the staff and stabs it into the ground because she is the last of the gods, and brings Billy back to life. Now, with that being said, you're now making Wonder Woman canon in the Shazam universe. So now Shazam is now connected to the Snyderverse. Now, when you bring in the agents from Peacemaker and recruit him for the Justice Society, you are now bringing Shazam relevant into the new canon in the new DCU. By doing that, you're bringing the Snyderverse relevant or canon in the new DCU. Now, of course, they're saying even at the end of Peacemaker Season 1, you have that moment where it shows the Justice League. You had Aquaman, Flash, you've seen Wonder Woman, and you've seen Superman. They were more in the back. You didn't actually see their characters. You saw their characters more like shadows. Now, James Gunn has announced that in Season 2 there will be an announcement, or there will be an explanation in Season 2 how it makes them not canon. How that movie's not canon. There's going to be an explanation in Season 2. However, he hasn't spoken yet on the whole Shazam and everything else, because the Suicide Squad is relevant in the new DCU is canon because Peacemaker. Now, when I say Suicide Squad, I don't mean the Will Smith version with Jared Leto is arguably horrible Joker. We're talking about the James Gunn Suicide Squad, which didn't have that many characters other than the Suicide Squad really in there. So you had a lot of B characters. There was no A-list characters like in David Ayer's Suicide Squad when you had the introduction of Batman and so forth. So that kind of gave us a little bit. That gives us a little bit, but not much. So really, Suicide Squad being canon doesn't really mean much. However, again, the question does arise with the Peacemaker element, and having Shazam canon now, that kind of opens up this really weird kind of flow. Now, I could be overanalyzing the shit out of this, and I probably am. Now, of course, they could easily say, oh, it's not canon, and whatever, so forth. My question is, though, why not just make a clean break? I mean, I love Peacemaker, love John Cena as a character, but why not just make a clean break? Why make Peacemaker canon in the new DCU? Like, it feels like you're trying to reboot it. You're rebooting the universe, but at the same time, you're not really rebooting the universe because you're bringing in characters that were canon in the previous universe. Well, I guess technically James Gunn, because James Gunn did create the show Peacemaker, and he also did the Suicide Squad. So technically, they're his characters that he kind of, or his storyline that he kind of started with this new story arc. However, connecting it with Shazam! Fury of the Gods, like, I feel like that mid-post credit scene was definitely hilarious and very exciting to see that, you know, Shazam is going to be moving forward and be canon in this new kind of transition. But with the Wonder Woman scene showing her bring Billy Baxton back to life, it screws up the entire canoncy of it. Now, again, I could be getting way too geeky with it and just nitpicking the hell out of it, which I kind of am. But my question is, why make Peacemaker relevant? Because now I feel like even if they have some miracle explanation on how Peacemaker is canon, how the agents in Peacemaker are canon, but Billy Baxton and Shazam, that's not canon. That post-credit scene never happened. I mean, I guess you could technically say that scene, because again, it was a mid-post-credit scene. You could easily say, okay, that's not canon. But again, I feel like it causes confusion just because, again, it's going to cause confusion because there's going to be people who saw that movie who don't follow the lore as closely or really pay attention to everything. And it's going to cause confusion to your mainstream audiences, I would say. People who don't really follow it to a T and watch YouTube videos on this shit, but more or less just watch the movies and TV shows. My question is, why make Peacemaker relevant or canon in the new DCU? Is it really relevant? I feel like we're kind of off to a sloppy start by bringing him in. I believe me when I say I absolutely love the new Superman movie. Honestly, after my previous viewing, I feel like Green Lantern is actually my new favorite Green Lantern. Like, I never disliked the Green Lantern movie that came out in 2017 with Ryan Reynolds. I know people shit on that movie. I remember seeing it in theaters opening weekend. I actually saw that Friday, that opening Friday, at like an 11:15 screening. But again, I thought it was fun. I mean, I didn't love it. I didn't think it was the best superhero movie there was, but I thought it was fun. Now, I think Guy's a better Green Lantern, and I would love to see James Gunn do not him personally, because I know he's doing a bunch of other shit, but I would love to see another Green Lantern movie, like a solo film with Guy from Superman, like that Green Lantern, because I just find his character so much more entertaining and he just has this like charisma about him that is just, I fucking love his character. So with that being said, I lost my train of thought there for a second. Oh yeah. So with that being said, why bring in Peacemaker? I feel like that just kind of, you had a great start to the send off of a new DC universe. I feel like bringing Peacemaker in kind of weighs it down a little bit and kind of completely screws up the entire canoncy of the DCU. Now, my question is, what do you guys think? Like, am I just like nitpicking too hard? That's the question. I actually want to see in the comment section. You know, am I nitpicking too hard? Like, can they pull this off without completely screwing up the new DCU? I mean, I feel like it's already a bad omen almost to bring, because I feel like there's just too much confusion, it's too much noise, you know, and I feel like that's going to hurt the new DCU with all this like extra like whateverness. What do you guys think? Is bringing Peacemaker into the new DCU a smart choice to make him canon? Is it too much background noise, or do you think they'll be able to slide him in gracefully and kind of pick up and start a new universe without confusing the hell out of your average moviegoer and completely screwing up the franchise? What are your thoughts? Comment below. Let me know.